We are back once again on United and Everything Football. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Kwame. I'm here with Kwame Inkibuesiapo. As usual, we are here to dissect everything that happened in the community shield. Unfortunately, we couldn't lift the shield. We lost on penalties, 7-8 on penalties. Twice we had advantage of lifting the shield, but twice we fluffed that advantage. But that's how the game ended. But it just didn't end there. Just before the game, I have been preaching patience. And I told you that I knew Ineos would come through. Just before the game, David Onston, the ever reliable David Onston, came with the news that United had agreed a deal for Matthijs Ligt and Mazaroui to come in, with Aaron Bissaka having his medical on Sunday morning. If you're watching it, because you're watching on Sunday morning, having his medical. So as you are watching, probably having his Sunday morning, his Sunday morning medical at West Ham. So it looks as if Ineos have come through and are trying their very best to resolve some of the issues that we spoke about. But what we are going to do today is to break down the game and also look at the transfers and what to expect. Kwame said he has figured out exactly how we want to play. He's going to break it down. It is in his head. So we are going to listen to Kwame break down Manchester United and what to expect this season here on United Everything. Kwame, how are you doing?
Fantastic. And do you know why?
Talk to me. Talk to me.
First of all, I have to give you your flowers. You preached patience and you were right. Less than 24 hours into your gospel, it's come to light. So
I told you.
Flowers. I don't know. There are no flowers on this, but there was green. You can take your flowers.
I told you.
But I was glad that we are having defensive reinforcements. I've
Very
been
important.
crying for defensive reinforcement for 6 whole months.
Very important.
See, it brought me so much relief. I'd been stressed. I'd been stressed out up until I heard the news that finally we are bringing in a right back. We are bringing in another centre back.
Yep.
It gives me some sort of assurance that this centre back issue over the course of the season, we are not going to face the same issues that we faced last season, and we will be able to play the kind of football we want to play better. Aber, das ist nicht genug. That is not enough. Yeah, I need more than that. Out of the Lincoln side, the left side has to be solved.
All right. You know what? Let's make a quick turnaround. When we come back, we'll look at the game. There's a lot to discuss with regards to the game that we played against Manchester City, and then we'll look at the transfers. So remember, please, you are doing so well. Yes, you are doing so well. I have to commend you. Subscribing to the channel and also hitting the notification bell and leaving the likes and the comments. But we still need more. We are not done yet. Those of you watching and have not subscribed, you enjoy the podcast. You comment, but you've not subscribed. Why? Why are you doing that? It's very important. So please remember to hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification bell and also the likes, please. You know what? Give me at least 100 likes on this video. At least 100 likes on this video. And I'll be very happy. The likes, that's a lot for us. And also, please comment. Let us hear from you. What your opinion is, what your comment is. Let's hear from you on United and Everything Football. We know you enjoy it, so please do it for us. So let's make a quick turnaround. When we come back, we break it down. You unpack everything for you here on this channel. All right, thank you very much. Welcome back to United and Everything Football. We lost, but there's a lot more to talk about. There is a lot more.
A lot to take from the game.
Yes, a lot to take from the game. We saw a very good team there out there fighting. I have only just one concern. That's Leeds equalizer. It shouldn't be something that we are going to see this season. Last season, we saw it a lot more times. The span with which we scored and for City to equalize, I think the time was too short, and it happened a lot last season. If we are going to get things right, if you're going to be that club, you're going to be that we are going to have that mentality of holding on to leads and winning games and getting games over the line against the big size. It has to start now. Yesterday's game should be the last time it happens, or it shouldn't come close to happening again because
Mm-hmm.
it is the only negative that really bothers me. It should never happen. We should keep our heads in the game, keep our focus in the game. That's the only negative I have. But Kwame, let me hear you. Let's break down the game. What did you see? Let's start with the first half. What are some of the positives that you came across in the game?
Before we even talk about today's game, we have to go back to what happened on the last game of the season. How come we were able to outclass Manchester City in that FA Cup final? We played a 4-2-4 box formation that day, and City did not figure it out throughout the entire game. For the whole 90 minutes, they were caught like deers in the headlights. They just didn't know what we're doing. And next thing they knew, the game was over and we had at next the FA Cup. Fast forward to yesterday. It's the same box formation that we presented with, the same 4-2-4 formation. But this time we played Mason Mount and Bruno Fernandes up front as a two, with Amad Diallo and Rashford on either side of them. And in the middle, our two midfielders were Kobe Mainoo and Casemiro. And the back four, the interesting shape at the back. We had Lisandro Martinez playing at left back, which I was delighted with. I'll get into that. And Johnny Evans at the left side of defense, with pairing with Harry Maguire on the right side. And then Diogo Dalot played as the right back. That was the setup. What happened a few months ago was that we set up this box trap where we ceded the wide areas to Manchester City. We allowed them to be able to play the ball wide. But then in the middle of the park, whenever they got into the middle of the park, we tried to intercept the ball and quickly send the ball into the wide areas of the attack. City's line was so high up that every time we played the ball over the top, they were almost always in trouble. And Pep did not figure it out throughout the entire football game. So guess what? He set up the same way, but this time he was wary of our trap and then wary of our game plan. He knew that the ball in behind was always going to be a problem. So City were the City lineup wasn't as strong as it was 3 or 4 months ago, but City is City. They have a set way of playing. This time around, they were very, very careful in possession, not trying to force issues. But whenever they lost the ball, they quickly retrieved backwards, not leaving that space in behind for us to play the ball over the top and into. So what we had to resort to was now try to build up play into the City half. And in building up play, Manchester United still is struggling to actually build up play. We can't progress the ball with this kind of possession football into the final third of the opposition as well as we should. Very often we lose the ball because our players either are made to play the ball quickly or are just designed to play the ball quickly, or tactically they just simply can't switch from playing the ball quickly to a possession-based type of football. So we're struggling to build into the final third of City. On the few occasions that we're able to do so, with players like Amad Diallo playing 1-2 wall passes off other midfielders and into the box, or taking on the fullback every now and then, we created the best chances in the first half. City hit the goalpost on one occasion when we struggled to play out of the back. We're struggling to play out of the back all throughout the first half. This is not just because City were putting us under pressure. It's just we're too lackadaisical in the approach of trying to play out of the back. You should do it with a lot more conviction, a lot more confidence, trust your teammates. But that clearly is not really up there yet. That is also another negative. Building into the opponent half, one negative. Building out of the back from the goalkeeper's point all the way forward was also another negative. But we did create chances. The clearest of those chances, I think one of them went to Amad Diallo where he tried to set up Mason Mount. I think he should have gone for goal himself. And Marcus Rashford had one that was set up for him perfectly for him to put into the far corner. And he put it wide of goal. It wasn't even close. That was the first half in a nutshell. But in the second half, what happened was City returned to old habits. Old habits being that they're a team that likes to, push up high, try to play the ball into your half, try to control the football game. And in trying to play the way that they naturally do, guess what? It played back into our hands. We have just been waiting for them to just take the game to us. This time around, whenever we made that interception in the box, Casemiro was finding the ball each and every single time on either side. Bruno Fernandes was finding the ball each and every time on either side. It was so easy for us to just cut them open every now and then, but yet again, we failed to take glaring chances. Marcus Rashford was set up by Garnacho. The changes up around 60 minutes also kind of influenced the game. I think our changes were more positive compared to City's changes.
True.
Garnacho brought so much life into the game. Who replaced Mason? I think Scott McTominay, his energy, but then in the final third, he doesn't make the right decision. His touch isn't right, all that. But then he gives you all the energy that you need in a football game. And we were just cutting them apart every now and then. Bruno Fernandes stuck the ball into the top corner after he beat the offside trap. It was quite close, but then the finish was remarkable.
Someone said it was the goal that never was.
The goal that never was. Like I said before, Garnacho also set up Rashford, and then he placed the ball just off the goalpost. He should be scoring that.
True.
We don't want to be seeing Rashford missing such chances going into next season. But the positive you can take from that is he finds himself in the right positions. But then again, all our other forwards also did find themselves in very good positions. When finally we broke the deadlock, it was from Bruno Fernandes, another interception in midfield. We got the ball to Bruno Fernandes, and quickly he finds a man out wide. It seems to be the kind of football we want to play. And that's typical transition football. It has to happen quickly. It's you intercept, you find your man either in the middle or out wide, and we just go right at you.
Yeah.
There's a lot expected from our wingers this season compared to our centre forwards. It looks like that is why we even go for a striker who is not the typical number 9, a 9.5. You get what I'm saying? Because he is, you can understand exactly how he fits into the system, holding up the play and finding these our wide men, and they should be prolific. Garnacho was prolific on that occasion. Played up on the right after he replaced Ahmad. He cut in, and with his weak left foot, he was able to place the ball beyond Edison. His weak left foot. I'm emphasizing weak left foot because our forwards in wide areas are showing a lot more versatility in terms of being able to use both feet, except for one player who wasn't even used at all. I'm talking about Anthony. Anthony granted an interview to one paper a couple of days ago.
A lot of, I think it was a group of journalists.
Yes, blabbering about how he needs to do better with his left foot, create more goals, score more goals, assist more goals. The reason being that it looks like that is the general message across board to them. Ruud van Nistelrooy has come in, and his football at PSV had a high emphasis on our wide players being exceedingly productive in terms of goals and in terms of assists. So they sat down probably in a room. All the wide players have been told that this season you are scoring goals.
We won't take any blank.
We are not taking one goal, one assist this season kind of thing. No. But in order to do so, you should be unpredictable. You should have some sort of unpredictability about you in terms of being able to use both feet. Garnacho's goal epitomized what we actually need in a wing, where you're not limited, you're not a one-trick pony. I think Anthony is really, really, really going to struggle this season to get into the team because, in as much as I'm not the biggest fan of Jadon Sancho, he's versatile enough. He can play on the left, he can play on the right, he can use both feet, he can go both ways. Garnacho can play with both feet, can go on the right, go on the left, use both feet. Rashford can do similar. Ahmad can actually use the other. If Ahmad had actually used his left foot in the first half to place the ball in the corner, that's a goal. But instead, he did set up instinctively with his right foot to try and lay it on the plate for Mason Mount. His right foot works. Then there's Anthony who just cuts in and then tries to place the ball at the top hand corner. So I don't know. But in a nutshell, that was the game. Tactically, that was the game. I think we figured things out in the second half better than Manchester City. Manchester City went back into old habits played into our hands. And the game was there for the taking. The equalizer was disappointing. First of all, Bob shouldn't be going past Martinez as easily as he did. But when the ball did go to the far corner, we had Pelistri playing at right back at the time. It's hard to blame him because when you're playing in a position that you are not familiar,
he's not a natural right back. You don't have the instincts to
know somebody's coming in from behind. He did fairly well in that right back position. Showed a lot of tenacity, a lot of industry, a lot of verb. But then defensively, that's when you know You're not a right back.
Yeah.
I don't mind players being played in different positions because one of the banes that we've had is versatility. Versatility sometimes covers for injuries. Not just that, even to in-game tactical changes you can make it if your players are able to play in different positions. That's why I said earlier that I was happy that Lisandro Martinez was tried out at left back.
Yeah.
Before Lisandro Martinez was signed for Manchester United, Arsenal were pursuing him. And when Arsenal didn't get him, they signed Zinchenko.
Yeah.
That tells you exactly the kind of plan Arsenal may have had for Lisandro Martinez, in that he may have featured at left back quite often.
Yes.
If Arsenal have managed to master that in terms of the versatility of their players, especially in defense, Manchester City the same. Gvardiol is a centre back, but plays left back most of the time for Manchester City. Nobody knew he could play left.
Ethanake same. Akanji same.
Very
John
similar.
Stones same.
Exactly.
Yes.
So imagine these players, these teams have injuries. You may not even notice it because each and every single player is multifunctional, can play in different positions.
Yeah.
Martinez can play in midfield. He can play at centre back. Now we know he can actually fill in at left back if the tactics and everything are shaped up right. One noticeable thing, tactics-wise, is that there were no spaces in between the lines like we had seen before. We're a lot more compact going forward and as well as in defense. One thing that I saw that was very, very admirable was that the tactics have been laid out clear that when we do push up high, we're supposed to play 1-on-1, 1v1 defender. Yes. Maguire and Evans battled so well with Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland played like typical Rasmus Højlund on a normal day, where he's fighting with defenders rather than trying to isolate himself and make deep runs. I don't know why he got so much engaged in one-on-one battles. But when you do that,
because clearly there was no space. If there is space for you to, run into or do anything, it's so easy for you. And one key thing was that the players were not getting the opportunities to play that through ball because we were compact.
We're compact, more compact, yeah.
Yes, and we were more in a mid block rather than a high press. City retreated, were in a mid block, like you said in the first half. United also operated in a mid block. The key thing that both teams wanted to do, or the key thing that would have gone for either teams, would have been the quality of your build-up. And that is why in the first 30 minutes, City were all over us because they could build up better. And they had calmed us in our own half. Because when we tried building up, we were finding it very difficult to
slow and ponderous,
and it was so slow. And we don't have the players that could do the build-up, the quality build-up for us were not in the right position. Martinez is one. I don't trust the one time that Johnny Evans tried, or Martinez tried playing one with Johnny Evans, it led to an opportunity that
it didn't work out.
It's the goalpost with it. So I wanted to ask you a question on this. It is City, so we had to retreat into a mid-block. Throughout preseason, we've seen other opponents play against other opponents where we were high pressing.
Higher up, yeah.
So is it that our approach to play is going to focus on the kind of opponents that we play? And is it going to play in a high press usually is where the problem is, where the gaps begin to come? Is it going to be solved by the personnel that is coming, or do you think that we are going to find ourselves in these issues of having gaps in midfield, especially when we try to high press?
I always say that City sometimes force you to play the way that they want you to play. I say that all the time.
Yeah.
In that they influence the game so much that your game plan, your plan A, is no longer your plan A.
Yeah.
You actually have to go into City games a lot of the time with a plan B because the way that you actually want to play may not actually pan out that way. So, in as much as we want to press high, Manchester City are so good in possession that if you press too high up the pitch, they can easily play through you. So some way, somehow, you have to retrieve 4 or 5 or 6 yards backwards into a mid block. This wasn't a deep block like how we played them
No.
Second leg. You get what I'm saying? So the idea is that we should push up high the pitch. That is how come we did find on some occasions where Erling Haaland they played a long ball sometimes, right? Trying to get Erling Haaland to control the ball and lay it for oncoming players from. So you have to win that first ball. And that is where the one-on-one defending comes in,
Yes.
where Maguire and Evans, they are old heads.
Yes.
You know, in
yes.
as much as Erling Haaland is
They
very, very
experience.
good.
They know
Sometimes
exactly
you use
how
exactly
a striker will behave in that situation.
Exactly. They know how to tag you. They know how to hold on to you,
Yes.
push you,
Yes.
foul
And they're
you.
all
That
big
kind
boys
of,
too.
that,
So I mean, in terms
exactly.
of physical structure.
Exactly. So playing that type of football into the hands of those centre backs actually did help us. But on a day that Erling Haaland is on top of his game and is able to bring those balls down, we'll be in trouble. We'll be in trouble because the kind of defenders that we had today, centre back that we had today in Johnny Evans and Maguire, when the ball is played in behind them,
that's where the problem is.
That is where the problem of the issue of personnel comes in, where the personnel can solve that problem. You have players who know how to play that system, play good rest defense, and have good recovery pace to be able to recover. So I'm glad that there's those type of players are coming. I don't think Matthijs de Ligt is the quickest player in the world, but I know he's definitely quicker than Maguire. 100% sure he's quicker than Maguire. And I know he's definitely quicker than Johnny Evans.
That's true.
And he knows how to play this exact kind of brand of football that he wants to play. Together with Lisandro Martinez, that's a great partnership. Lenny Yoro is super quick enough to be able to catch up with. We saw him in the game against Arsenal where he did make a mistake and he quickly that is the one-on-one defending that we are talking about. Harry Maguire is not getting back. It's a penalty. Johnny Evans would just clear you and give you a penalty and just go away.
Or they'll just allow you go. That's it.
They'll just allow you. They
hoping that the goalkeeper will make a save of the sort to help.
We consider the least amount of shots bar just a single game from last season. 8 shots, only one on target. That was City's goal. Last season, there's only one game that we considered less amount of shots than that. Every other game we're considering into the 15s and 20s and 30s. It was a stark difference from that. And we did this without any new signing. Same old players that were there from last season, except for the fact that we had a lot more players to choose from. And we were more compact, we were more disciplined, we played better football, we created more chances with the same old group of players. No Zexi today for obvious reasons. We can't take any more. We don't have a striker. For the next 1 month, we don't have a striker. There's no point playing him in a glorified friendly match. Then he gets injured. And for 3 games, we don't have a centre forward. So the next international game. Eric Ten Hag learned his lesson this time and did not even
risk it at all.
We'll probably see him starting. I wouldn't be shocked if he starts the game against Fulham. That's where the business actually starts.
We'd have had enough training with the group too as well. So
almost 2 weeks. So those are the positives as well as the negatives from today. But overall,
sum it up.
The final results aside, the penalty shootout is the lottery. We should have won that penalty shootout. Jadon Sancho was the guy who missed the penalty. I don't want to get into it.
Let's cut him some slack. I mean, it happens.
It is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah, the lottery, and then City won the shield, but then it's just a precursor. It's a good dress rehearsal. I think we've finally shown a lot of United fans today who either have not been paying attention to preseason or have not been convinced by preseason that we are onto something this season. So let's just see what happens next week Friday.
Well, if you ask me, it's one of the positive preparations that we've had. I mean, the result hasn't been, it's because we've had a lot of, in the second half of the games that we've played, we've had to play with a lot of academy boys mixed up with some of the senior players. So the chemistry and other things are not so clear. But if you've watched a lot of the preseason games, especially in the first half, the Rosenborg game aside, because clearly Rosenborg were higher than us in terms of, or were far advanced ahead than us in terms of preparation. The other games that we played, you could see exactly what we wanted to do in the first half. That pressed, backing up the press, trying to squeeze up, trying to go man to man. I mean, all the principles that you'd see were quite evident in those games. I wasn't paying so much attention to the results. Of course, the results does a lot to your psyche. It gives you that winning edge. We are winning, and all of that. But it's just preseason. The real action starts on Friday when we play against Fulham. That one is not just about how you are playing. We are not looking at the idea. We are looking at the results. Because the first 3 points matters, or every point counts in the league games that we are going to play. So we've seen everything that we want to see. we don't have to be profligate. We don't want to
Yeah.
see our strikers or our attackers not burying the chances that we create. We created far too many chances to kill this game, but
4 clear chances,
we
4 at least.
we failed to take these chances against Manchester City, who didn't fail relatively compared to us a stronger side because a lot of these players are now coming. There wasn't Rodri, there wasn't De Bruyne, there wasn't Ake, there
Oh, De
was
Bruyne did come on in the last minute though.
came on in the last minute. Bernardo Silva also came in the last minute. So
Mm.
they didn't have a lot of these guys. But not to take anything away from us. We had a game plan, we stuck to it. As Kwame has done in the breakdown, we got to understand exactly how we wanted to play. And there is a lot more positive to take from that. But yeah, there are two things. Conceding late, burying your chances. If you're able to be ruthless, I tell you, we are in for a ride this season with this team because clearly we have an idea, we have a way of play that is very clear that we want to see. If you watch it and you are observant enough, you would see. There is personal reinforcement.
Humans see what they want to see. Some
Yes.
people refuse to see.
If you, that one I can't help you. You would have to watch and see for yourself what you want to see. But I see what I'm seeing, and I see a lot more positives in what we are trying to do this season. We need personnel to back it up. And fortunately for us, we have Mazaroui coming in to back up as right back, and he can deputize at left back. As instance, we don't have our left backs available. He's been training in preseason. When he comes in and the coach feels that he's good enough to start the game against Fulham, that's fine. Matthijs Ligt has also come in from the break and has also been training. So when he comes in and also the coach feels that he's good enough to start, the better for us. I could see the precautions that the coach tried to take. I mean, taking out Ahmad, taking out Maguire, taking out some of the key players that he felt were needed time. I mean, needed game time. Kobe Menu needed game time. Kobe Menu was not up to scratch. You could clearly see that he wasn't sharp. He had gotten
a huge difference between Casemiro and then him today. You could see fitness-wise, Casemiro is like way up there,
way ahead. You get it. So, but we know Bruno. Bruno is a special human being.
The demon.
He's one of those guys that can sleep for 2 years and come onto the pitch and play as if he's been playing football all throughout the 2 years, and that's the kind of quality that he has. So that's generally our thoughts on the game. Help is coming. So let's quickly go to the help that is coming, the signings that we are making, and let's wrap it up with that. Kwame, so help is finally on our way. Ineos have managed to bring in 2 players. It's not official though, but an agreement has been reached with the clubs. So basically, it's medicals left to be done and then confirmation, and then they can start training and working with the team. But what is your general impression? How is this going to help us generally going into the Premier League season? Because I said that before Friday next week, something was going to happen. It was barely 24 hours and we have this.
Barely 24 hours. Ineos deserve a pat on the back for 2 reasons. They've laid down, we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago where we said we would find out what Ineos are actually made up of in terms of trying to wipe away the United tax. Bayern Munich wanted £43 million up front for Matthijs de Ligt. Ineos have ended up agreeing to a deal of £38.6 million up front. That's a discount of almost £5 million. Mazaroui is going for £12.9 million, almost £13 million up front.
Yes.
The combined fee for both players is around £51 million. That's the price PSG is asking for Ugarte. He's done that for 2 players.
Yes.
That's almost £19 million less than
the money that Everton is demanding for Brandtwaite. Yeah.
Exactly. So when you look at that in that perspective, we've not signed anybody for more than £50 million up front this summer. Yet we are addressing the specific positions that we need problems with high level talents. The one would say Mazaroui is not really up there, but then if you're bringing him as a backup to Diogo Dalot, as well as a backup left back, there is value there in getting a player of that experience, played for Ajax, played for Bayern Munich, won it all basically. That's exceedingly well for his national team for that price. It's an excellent deal.
Yeah.
So what they've done is it's a great job. Great job, but they're not done yet. We all know they're not done yet.
Yes.
They need to go a step further and sort out our midfield issue. But what I'd also say it's a great credit to them is they are trying to get their first targets for these very same positions.
True.
We've played this cat and mouse game with PSG and then
Mm.
Bayern Munich for weeks,
Yes.
where we are waiting to see who blinks first.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
almost like a game of poker, but it looks
Exactly.
like Bayern Munich have blinked first. We went like
Yes.
we're going away and then we've
Yeah.
come back.
Yeah.
It's looking like PSG have also called us
Actually,
back
they
to this game.
need it. They also
That's the
need it
thing.
to make their assignments.
It's cat
On the
and
other
mouse,
hand,
isn't it?
PSG can decide to allow Ugarte to stay. They don't have that problem. And they will have an
You're right.
excess player who wouldn't be there to do much.
That's the thing I was getting to. The truth of the matter is, business-wise, they need to get rid of him.
True.
But PSG, as we know, they have a funny way of operating. These Arab people, they know how to circumvent the rules and the laws when it comes to FFP and all those kind of things.
Yes.
But if they are going by the book, this is a player that they don't need.
They don't need. I mean, you look at the midfield options. They've already signed João Neves.
Yeah. And we said we were only going to come back to the table if they are willing to reduce the offer. So what that means is that if we have gone back to the table, it means they are willing to reduce the offer. So we are more likely to get Ugarte for less than the 51 million pounds that they are asking for. I think we put 43 million pounds to the table.
Yes.
Even if we find ourselves halfway, you're talking about something like 45 million pounds and maybe some add-ons to sort of make up the gap. But that will still be less than what the asking price was by quite some bets.
Yeah.
So Ineos are getting their way in terms of these kind of deals compared to the first two deals that we made.
Yeah.
The first two deals we kind of paid just a bit over the top to get Lenny Yoro and Joshua Zexi over the line. But going forward, it looks like they want to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
But I still want us to sign, like I said in my intro, a left-sided defender in addition. There is nothing wrong with asking for more. And there is a Spaniard who happened to be very good, happened to be completely under the radar, completely, like nobody was even thinking about him.
Yes.
Whom we were linked to, I think, was it last night by a random source on Twitter that's not so popular, but all of a sudden, Fabrizio Romano sort of backed that up. And that person has been taking his flowers. I've forgotten the name of the account. But Hermoso of Atletico Madrid, who used to play a lot of games for Atletico Madrid, actually, happens to be a free agent at the age of 29 and is on the market. And nobody knew about it. I didn't know about it. You didn't know about it. Nobody knew about it. He happens to be left-footed, who can also play left back. And what kind of player have we been looking for all this summer? A left-footed centre-back who can actually play left back. And it's landed on our lap. Kwame, we have to sign this player yesterday. Yesterday for free. Yesterday. And that would complete the back four that I have been begging for 6 months. Right back, two centre backs, left-footed centre back or left back. The set will be complete. And we can then say to ourselves that Mr. Eric Ten Hag,
you don't have any excuse.
What is your excuse again? Some of us fought for you that you will stay because of this exact same scenario. That's by your third season, at a big club. Any manager who lasts his third season at a big club is able to shape the team to the team that he actually wants. You should be able to see the clear identity of the team. And Ineos have come in to make a statement in terms of the market. And they've gotten you more players that, under normal circumstance, you would have had. Mr. Eric Ten Hag.
You have no excuse now.
You have to perform. You have to. Now, we don't defend, though. It is more like we hold you, we tax you, hold you. You have to be responsible for yourself.
Even he himself, you understand.
Exactly.
He himself, you understand. Anyway, guys, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kwame. It's been fun. I really enjoyed the recording. We've broke down the game very well. We've discussed the transfer and the fact that these players and the reports coming in that indicates that the players will be booked for medical on Monday, and then the formal steps will continue. So I'm sure roughly by Wednesday, there should be some announcement. Maybe Tuesday evening, there should be some announcements. The players were in England playing against Spurs. We should have just caught them, brought them to quarantine. and then tell their wives and children to bring their things to England, but it just doesn't
They need
work
to be
out.
registered before
By
on
Thursday
Thursday. That's the
noon
deadline.
before
Yeah.
they get in. All right, so that's it. So that's how we draw the curtain for today. But before I go, we have a fantasy league that we've organized for United and Everything Football Podcast. So that is the code, as you can see. I'll leave the code for you to enter the description below, so you can just tap on it and then you can join our FPL league. We'll be discussing it here. Who is winning and all of that. We'll be having a good time here on the FPL. Yeah. On this channel. My name is Kwame. His name is Kwame. Thanks very much for joining us on this podcast. Remember to subscribe, hit the notification bell to give us at least 1,000 likes, and also comment on the video. Comment. Let's hear you. It's very important. So we see you on the next one. It will be United today. The next one will be United today. In the course of the week, we have a special podcast with some friends from Fulham reviewing the game. Bringing this on United. Everything. Have a great time. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.